is about? Why are all these pages stuck together?
We are live.
We are live.
We are live.
Did I say welcome to the main event?
Run that thing, bro. You mad?
Oh, man.
Behave before you talk about what I'm talking about, yeah?
Disclaimer! Run that thing back. Nah, man, stay there in your corner, man. Run that thing back, fam. I don't want to hear nothing from you.
We are live, as I'm saying. Mr. Blitz Tech.
Revenue GS.
J1 further to Cyberlands.
And welcome to The Last of Us, episode 4 discussion. Where, if you want to watch it with us, head over to our patreon.com/cybernerds and watch our reaction on this episode. What are you man saying about today?
A calm episode with some good gems. Like, I just really enjoyed the journey in today's episode. Obviously, Ellie and Joel's going from point A to point B, and just what they were going through throughout the day, the kind of conversations we're having, and obviously towards the end of the episode, we finally get a laugh, smile out of Joel. I really, really, really enjoyed that because it just shows the growth between these two characters and how Joel is taking on Ellie. Do you know what I'm saying? Even the part where he says, yo, we're not family, but by the end of the episode, we're not there yet, but we're getting there. I love these little things between them.
Yeah, I thought it was a calm episode, man. Like, just like Raven saying, we was talking in another discussion about how they translate the quiet moments in the game into how they adapt it into the series, and I feel like this whole episode is just a reflection of that. It is a quiet episode, but it doesn't seem like if other shows did this, it might seem quiet. It might seem boring almost. Do you know what I'm saying? But they wrap the quiet moments into emotional narrative between the two characters, good cinematography, and almost like just learning more about the world. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I like the car journey where they was going through and they're going through the different terrain and they're seeing like what the weather has done to everyone. There's no infected in this episode at all, and it's also like raising the level in terms of being fearful of humans. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think in this episode you see it, and you see both sides of it, where Joel's saying, I'm on both sides, and you see someone pretending to be hurt to ambush them. Well, someone pretending to be hurt to inflict pain on them, and then once they've inflicted pain on that person then begging and pleading like, oh, everything's cool now, and then Joel having to take him out. And this is the question that gets posed in the episode is, have you hurt innocent people? What doesn't get answered, which we all know, the answer probably is yes, but then it gets sticky because who is innocent in a world like this? Mm-hmm. Do you know what I'm saying? Joel's trying to preserve Ellie's innocence, where she's saying my innocence has already been soiled. Do you get what I'm saying? Like the ideologies, the theories. Joel's trying to be the dad that he was pre-apocalypse in a world that doesn't have the same rules. So I feel like we're just warming. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like we've got out of the stages of the show just started and we're in like, all right, we're warming up to what we're getting to next, you get me? So I thought it was a calm episode, man, quiet, man.
Yeah, I thought the episode was okay. Like I said, focusing more on that, the human aspect of everything, and just how, I don't know, without no rules or whatever, just the way people move and the way they would treat each other. Like, I find it very interesting when we're introduced to this character that's from, is that Pedro they said, or it wasn't Pedro?
It wasn't Pedro, no.
Just like just people occupied the city or whatever. Where, like, again, she's going after someone named Henry, who she's saying she's blaming for her brother's death, who I'm guessing Pedro would have beaten when they were occupying it there.
Yep.
So this guy's like, I was your doctor, I bear you right here. And now that Joel and Ellie have come into the city, she's now spinning this story, oh, Henry's doing this, Henry's doing that to get what she wants. Then finding out that, this guy's dying. Like, I've got a doctor, do we need him? As soon as like he's like, just say, of no use, she goes and murks, man. So it's kind of interesting how like people would move just to get what they want, and if they don't get what they need, it's like you're obsolete, like you're actually nothing to. anybody. So, like I'm saying, the mentality of the people is interesting.
You're always gonna get those people gravitate to power and just want to manipulate, like, because obviously a lot of the young guy, a lot of them might have not even been born before the outbreak and stuff like that. So it's a lot easier to manipulate those kind of people. Much like what I'm thinking of, Book of Eli kind of thing, where you rally your own people and what you say is word. Do you know what I mean? So I actually want to see what comes out of this and what kind of character she is, what they're on as well, because that's one of the things that always intrigued me. Is like, yo, if the world's gone to shit, why isn't people coming more together instead of just be like, oh, I'm just running my own thing? But obviously people are going to be people, some people are going to be crowd. And where do we line up, like, who to trust who kind of thing? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody's just on job. Like, and this is the kind of stuff that let's see in this show, like how we're going to portray it and how we're going to come across things. But
Trust no one.
It's bad.
Trust no one. Trust no one.
Yeah, one thing I saw here, I was meant to ask you guys, the fungi doesn't affect animals, right? Because there was a bunch of like buffaloes there and stuff. I know in the game they've got horses, but it doesn't touch animals, does it?
I didn't really delve into that, to be honest, but there is nothing stopping them from affecting animals.
You never see any infected animals though.
Right.
So, I mean, that's the same in the game with the giraffes and all that situation. Like, you never really see.
Oh, yeah.
You never really see animals get infected.
Right.
But maybe that's got something to do with something else that we don't know about.
Cool.
Yeah, I've never really thought about it, to be honest, but they never really dove into that. So maybe they do, maybe they don't.
I'd be interested to see if that gets tackled, but due to the fact that they keep showing us animals uninfected,
usually in the game it's like a sign of relief when you see them, like especially the giraffe bit, because like I remember that scene was like, wow, like this is beautiful, especially for Ellie as well, who's never seen it. So that's actually kind of tough. Another thing is breaking down how Joel got to be where he is because of his brother. I don't think they touched that in the game, did they?
That's a completely different story now.
Oh, okay. I also like that as well. Like, it's like, oh, you know, my brother's into this. I'll follow just to keep him safe. Twos, he gets recruited into the Fireflies, and I'm here today. Do you know what I'm saying? And even touching on what's the girl that got met? Tess as well. And then the other girl, like, oh yeah, they were family. Like, these little things like matter because obviously it's part of Joel's journey as well. You know what I'm saying? It's part of his past and also part of his present, because through them, that's how they got here today.
Yeah, it is interesting. 'Cause obviously there's moments from the game where certain things would have happened, but then they've completely changed it here. So I do want to see how they are going to take it going forward with these moments, because it was like, for me, a complete surprise seeing Joel even just laughing at this point in time already.
It's quite interesting.
It's
very interesting. It's very interesting.
I was like, what? Like, obviously the whole pun, like, one, I love the puns, right? The Last of Us anyway, like, those whole pun jokes are just, like, I was surprised when you guys didn't say in the books if they are, like, or not already real, but that's one other thing. But yeah, like, him getting where he is right now, I was like, I would like to see what else is going to happen then, because it took Joel quite a while to crack.
In the game.
Yeah. Especially, so I want to see what happens when he does meet with his brother, what kind of relationship they do have that kind of brings him back to, oh, it's a job. Like, he's even saying in the car, your cargo. But he's like slowly molding, like, it's into that father figure kind of thing, making him learn how to use a gun, that kind of stuff. So
I do think it's quick. I definitely do think it's quick. But at the same time, if we're dealing with an 8 or 9 episode series and we're at episode 4, which is halfway, he needs to lighten up. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you're playing a 30-hour game at hour 15. It's, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're at hour 15 in the show. So I think it's more so an indication of how far the series actually goes into the story in terms of, like, him opening up and where we're going to be at the end. But I didn't love how much he laughed. I think they should have just gave it the giggle and then left it. But I mean, he's opening up. Get me? He's opening up. But I do like the mystery around Ellie saying she's hurt someone before, and where that's going to take us into another story in another episode. Get me?
Yeah, because, okay, that's that. For me, that's two things. One, I really feel like I already know who she's talking about.
Yes.
which I won't spoil for anyone. Then 2, for Joel, I feel like if they're doing it this early now, are they trying to change the narrative
Yes.
from man's perspective?
This is what I believe.
for the ending.
Wait. What ending? The ending ended.
Yeah, the ending. That's what I feel like it is. Because like, you don't think so,
bruv.
As I say, like it's
If they was to do that, I think that would be very wild. I think that maybe that they're just trying to make him be a bit more likable.
okay.
Just in general. Because he's been super, like, if you've played the game, you're gonna be like, oh, this is fine. This is fine. But if you haven't, and this is the only thing you've watched, Joel is OD cruddy, you know? And as a main character, I feel like they might have been wary on how viewers who haven't played the game are actually perceiving him. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think that might be why they're trying to like open him up a bit faster as well. Do you know what I'm saying? Just so there is that likability. Because I know there's going to be a lot of people that are like, nah, man, he's a bad guy. He's a bad guy. And he is a bad guy. But he's a bad guy we like. And that's not done very often in series and television. So I can understand them kind of trying to be sure. Almost like taking it back to the first episode where they did the flashback of his daughter right before he beat up the officer. It's like they just want to make sure everyone knows, okay, this is it. Like he is a good guy. He has, you know what I'm saying? Like they're just trying to nail it home who he is, bruv. That's why I'm not going all the way to where you're going. Like they're trying to change the whole narrative. Yet. I'd have to see more.
As I say,
I'd have to see more. Yeah.
It's the execution. But like you're saying, because obviously when you're playing a game, you're in man's shoes. So it's like you almost got the auto attachment.
And you're making the decisions for him.
So it's almost like you
have to do it. Exactly.
Like, almost like there's no choice. So like, I'm doing this for a cause kind of thing. So when you're watching a show, like you're saying, like you're outside, but you're still getting immersed. So it's like, it is kind of like a different medium kind of thing. So it's like, how do we make this guy like this for viewers?
Okay.
But So, and then like, cause I want to see the execution at the end and be like, all right, I understand. Or it's like, okay, I don't know.
Because in the game, where you're forced to do the crud, it's almost a necessity. So then they can then give you the emotional stuff with him and be like, oh, okay, he is cool. But where you're watching it, as a viewer, you might make different decisions when watching it. So then you're like, oh, they could have did this, they could have did that. Because bruv, especially in that scene there where the guy's begging for his life in front of a child, and then he's telling the child, go in the other room while I murder this man in cold blood while he begs. They have to lighten him up in the same like, bruv, do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's deep levels of Game of Thrones there, and not everyone's getting their heads chopped off in every episode, so they've got to lighten him up. Do you know what I'm saying? So I felt like for him to go there, they had to put him here as well in the same episode. You have to. Like, just in terms of where people's mindsets are going to be. Bruv, it would have been mad if he just murdered the guy in cold blood and there was no likeness from him the whole episode.
That's what I say, because then I was like, right, he's not like lecturing about the gun.
Exactly.
And then like...
That's what adds into it as well. Imagine, he kills the brother in cold blood, goes off on Ellie, and then doesn't laugh at the joke. And I'll be like, this brother's a demon. He's a demon.
That's what I'm saying, but throughout the episode, they do make Joel very grey.
They do.
Like you said, the whole question about the innocence, like he's teaching her this, but he's doing that. He's been in this situation. I've been on both sides. Like I say, like it's
deep, bro. It's deep.
It's very sketchy. So, boy,
bro, and one of the two things I do love, bro, they are towing the line so well in terms of like appeasing. I'm gonna say someone like me who's like, bro, don't water Joel down. And I don't feel like he's been watered down.
No.
But at the same time, when they go into the lightness, they're stepping more into it, but it's not so much that I'm like, that's not him. Do you get what I'm saying? Joel would laugh. Yeah, he would. But he'd also kill this brother in cold blood. So you got to make me happy, but you also got to make someone who, when he kills someone in cold blood, they almost want to throw up and be like, oh, he's a terrible man. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's, bruv, they're doing a great job with the show, man.
Oh, that I can't disagree with. Like I say, like,
yeah,
it's gonna have to work.
I know.
It's the journey, bro.
It's the journey, for sure. And like I said, like for me, like since it is a TV show, I'm not gonna. Obviously, the comparisons are always gonna be there, but I always like to break it down, especially with you guys, and be like, why?
Yeah.
So obviously, I'll see one thing and be like, I liked it. Or why am I thinking about it this way? So I might say one thing. someone might say it another way. I'm like, okay, cool. And then obviously, perspectives. So, guys, comments down below. What do you think of this episode?
Hey, what are you giving it this episode?
Oh, that's actually a very good question. Still,
I got a solid 3.5. Boom.
Okay.
I'm giving it the lowest score. It's like it didn't hit as hard as the other episodes, and that's why it gets a 3.5 for me. But it's still a solid, legit, good episode. You get me?
Yeah, 3.5 for me as well. I like the whole journey with him and Ellie. Like the question, even him talking about like she clocking that he couldn't hear properly on one side of it. Like all this, what I'm saying, that all these little crumbs, like these gems they're dropping, like later on when you add it all up, it completes the whole thing. So 3.5 for me, man.
Yeah, I gotta compare with you guys. 3.5 episode. I'll say it's the weakest episode thus far, but it's not weak.
See,
Exactly.
and
It's not a weak episode.
this is what I tried to say. I tried to stay away from saying anything about it. But yeah.
It couldn't be helped.
If we lined up all the episodes, it's not as strong as I wouldn't say it's just not as strong as the others. It's not as strong as the others. It's just not as strong.
But yeah, like I said, there's like little crumbs here and there that they're just putting in with Ellie, Joel. We're now getting more characters. We're getting new situations. So episode 5,
Jesus,
woo! It's looking to be mad.
The way they just dropped the last scene, it's
do.
about to be a madness.
And we've got another
episode.
issue covered as well. But guys, you want to see all these things happening, what we're talking about, that we're not going to spoil too much just in case. Head over to patreon.com/the where we're watching this show weekly. Until then, I'm Sam, Mr. Blitztech.
Revenue GS.
Jay, 1/3 of the Cybernerds.
Peace.